Once again, we're glad to have your company, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and I bring you tonight's edition is Martina Abera. Let us begin by informing you that President Paul Kagame has called on leaders at all levels to be accountable for their duties and ensure that development projects are properly implemented. He reiterated this on Thursday while officially opening the 20th National Mushyikirano Council. We have more coming from Adam Squizera.
On the first day of the 20th National Mushyikirano Council, President Paul Kagame stated that both the resolutions and strategies adopted during the council contributed significantly to the country's advancement and laid groundwork for further developments. President Kagame called that the council was first initiated with the main objective to collectively reflect on how the country could rely on itself rather than depend on others, noting that this principle remains the foundation upon which the responsibilities of every citizen should be built.
Self-reliance, therefore, is our main priority, it is our objective, and it is a responsibility that belongs to all of us, one that every one of us must embrace and work towards.
President Kagame also noted that the Rwanda's circumstances require hard work, and therefore leaders are expected to fulfill their responsibilities by delivering what they owe citizens, warning that failure to do so will result in accountability.
Gufata inshingano cyane cyane ku bayobozi kugira ngo ibyo dukora
Taking responsibility is especially critical for leaders because everything we do, the projects we implement, and the way we serve the people, we must be subjected to evaluation. Leaders must be asked, did you act in the interest of all Rwandans? Did you use the resources responsibly, all for personal gain? Were those resources used in the way that truly reached the intended beneficiaries? These are issues we cannot ignore. Leadership demands accountability, the ability to explain our decisions and actions clearly, and when necessary, to take responsibility and pay for it.
Addressing regional security, particularly the situation in Eastern DRC and Burundi, which in recent times have jointly pursued policies of hatred and genocide ideology, an approach also echoed by leaders of these countries. President Kagame reiterated that the conflict in the DRC did not originate from Rwanda, nor does not Rwanda play any role in it, stressing that it's a conflict initiated by Congolese actors themselves. President Kagame further stated that Rwanda's core issue with the DRC lies in the presence of the FDLR, a genocidal militia, who continue to promote genocide ideology with the support of the Congolese authorities and the complacency of the international community.
Many questions they ask is always, how many Interahamwe are there in Congo? How many FDLR? In other words, what they are trying to say is, you have turned it into such a big problem when actually they say some of them are old. They are 90 years old. Say, but if you are saying they are 90 years old, it means they are there. But to become 90 years old, if you have children that you train and put in their heads this kind of ideology, and they end up being militias or fighters within FDLR, I mean, how does being 90 years old become irrelevant? How? So they ask me, how many? The easiest answer for me sometimes is Why don't you ask the UN forces you put there? You sent these forces to go and deal with this problem, among others. So they should really be telling you how many or what they are doing. Second, I answer them on issue of hate speech. How do you count the numbers?
The first day of the National Mishitirano Council also provided an open platform for citizens across the country to follow and participate through designated sites and other platforms.
Still on the National Mishitirano Council, the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Dr. Justin Sengiyumba, says progress registered in the first year and a half of implementing the second National Strategy for Transformation is encouraging and shows that Rwanda is on course to meet its development commitments, though sustained effort remains essential. William Evans Mutabazi has more.
While addressing participants at the National Umushyikirano Dialogue Council, the Prime Minister presented an overview of achievements under NST2, noting that there is strong confidence that Rwanda will have made significant development strides by the end of the 5-year strategy period.
Hashize umwaka urenga dushira imbaraga nyinshi mu bikorwa bizatugeza ku ntego nyamukuru y'iyi gahunda.
It's been more than a year now since we started putting a lot of effort into implementation of different projects that will make us accomplish the main goals of NST2, including ensuring that every Rwandan will have $1,370 per year in 2029, up from $1,040 per year in 2024. In 2024, economic growth reached 8.9%, up from 8.2% in 2023. Exceeding our target projection, then of 8.3%. This demonstrates that our economy has continued to grow at a steady pace and gives us hope that we shall be able to achieve our target.
Bitanga icyizere ko intego twihaye tuzayigeraho.
Growth across various economic pillars, driven by deliberate government interventions, has contributed significantly to the reduction in unemployment levels. These efforts have been accompanied by targeted job creation strategies across different sectors.
Twanagize uruhare mu kugabanya igipimo cy'ubushomeri. Iki gipimo cyavuye kuri 16.8%.
These efforts have significantly contributed to the reduction of unemployment rates to 11.7% in last quarter of 2025, down from 16.8% in 2024. According to the evaluation carried out in the last quarter of 2025, it showed that from the beginning of 2024, over 800,000 jobs have been created. Among those, over 7,060 jobs, accounting for 93% of the jobs, were not linked to agriculture.
Ni ukuvuga 93% by'imirimo yose yahanzwe ni imirimo idashingiye ku buhinzi.
Among achievements recorded under NST2 between 2024 and 2025 are the construction of 4,200 kilometers of feeder roads, the rehabilitation of 600 kilometers of national roads, and 82.9% of households are now having access to electricity, while industrial output grew by an average of 8% in the first 3 quarters of 2025. In the tourism sector, revenues rose to $647 million, up from $620 million previously. International conferences and sporting events alone generated $108 million compared to $95 million earlier. Health indicators have also improved, with maternal mortality declining from 105 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2023 to 2024 to 97.7, while under 5 mortality fell to 39.4 deaths per 1,000 children from 45 deaths per 1,000 children. In the governance pillar, the government reduced the backlog of cases by 53%, surpassing the 30% target set for 2029. Basing on these indicators, President Paul Kagame emphasized that no sector should be left behind, noting that inclusive participation remains critical to improving citizens' welfare.
tureba umubare w'ukuntu ubukungu bwakuze tukibwira ngo ibyo birahagije ntabwo bihagije kuko ibi biri specific nibyo bikwereka ko uri ahantu habi ibi ngibi ni biragushuka.
Looking at the statistics on economic growth, some people might presume that it is enough. No, it's not. Where things are going right is no compensation for things that are not going well. Where things are not doing well, there are also consequences. And because some other area is doing better is not enough, all pillars must not be performing well. The mismatch between the two areas is the responsibility of the leaders to follow up. We have had discussions on the issues in agriculture for years now. At one point, things seemed to be working out well, but because there's negligence and not working together and following up, after 2-3 years, upon asking, you find that there is hardly anyone with a memory of what was supposed to be done. That's where we must now focus. By all means, we must find solutions so that the issues don't become recurring year after year.
The 9th National Mushikiano Dialogue adopted 13 resolutions, translated into 41 action points. So far, 34 have been fully implemented, while work on the remaining 7 is nearing completion. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
President Paul Kagame has once again cautioned leaders in Rwanda's economic sectors, telling them that many of the challenges facing the country stem from poor performance and inefficiencies within institutions. This comes after officials themselves acknowledged existing gaps in their respective sectors that must be addressed to ensure economic growth translates improved livelihoods for citizens. William Evans Mutabazi continues.
During a discussion themed around supporting sustainable development, it was highlighted that from 2003 to date, Rwanda's economy has grown at an average of 7.5% annually, significantly contributing to improving living standards for Rwandans. Poverty levels have declined to 27% from 60% in 2003, while access to electricity has also expanded dramatically, rising to 80% from below 5% of households nationwide. In efforts to boost productivity in agriculture and livestock, Dr. Telesfor Ndabamenye outlined ongoing initiatives aimed at strengthening the sector. I am of a view that we can take advantage and invest more in fertilizers and produce boosters. When we talk to citizens across the country, they ask for where to find this and at what price they can get it. So, we desire that this chain is perfected. Another thing, if you mulch but do not water, you do not get expected results. Government is putting lots of efforts in a number of initiatives, including the culture of watering. These two are not new strategies, but the methodology of applying them can improve yields and cause a huge change. On mining, petroleum and gas, the head of Mining, Petroleum and Gas Exploration Department, Alice Uwase, noted that Rwanda possesses a wide range of mineral resources and explained measures being taken to fully harness their potential.
80% y'uturere twose two mu Rwanda rufite amabuye y'agaciro. Rero igihugu cyacu cyose kirimo amabuye y'agaciro.
80% of all the districts of Rwanda have minerals. Therefore, the whole of our country has mineral deposits here and there, and the international market knows because, and all of this is on research. Research is continuously conducted to identify minerals. When you know what you have in your land, you make the right demands from the investors because you know the value of what you own. But all this goes hand in hand with knowledge. Art schools and universities have been cooperative in producing the right skills and technical people in mining.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Yusuf Murangwa, highlighted the continued growth of the economy while also pointing out existing gaps that still constrain its full potential.
Icyambere imikoranire kudahuza makuru kudahuza ibyo tugomba gukora.
Firstly, its lack of cooperation, not working together and sharing information, and also not working closely with the private sector causes us big losses. The government has invested heavily in Made in Rwanda markets such abroad, and we have agreements to access those markets that have big demands for coffee, tea, avocado, Made in Rwanda clothes, and others. We usually face a problem of not enough products, but also the quality of what we have to export. Drawing from these discussions, President Paul Kagame urged leaders to take decisive and lasting actions to permanently address these challenges.
N'ibindi byose Yusufu yavuze rwose nabyo byumvikana ni ukubisubiramo birasobanutse ariko niko bibaye imyaka 5, 10, 15.
Concerning low productivity in the agriculture sector, for how long have we talked about this? It's no longer about enough resources or the lack of resources, even if it were not to be enough. Instead, what is lacking is the mindset and the working attitude. This still goes back to the leaders. For how long shall we keep going in circles about this? Rwanda's economy has continued to grow at an average rate of 8.7%, driven by key sectors including agriculture, industry, and services. In the first 3 quarters of 2025, the agricultural sector grew by an average of 7%, up from 5% in 2024. The industrial sector expanded by 10%, while the services sector recorded an average growth of 9%. In mining, output increased by 17.7% compared to 2024. Rwanda ranks first in Africa and fourth globally, with 31% of the world's tungsten supply originating from the country. Rwanda is also among the world's leading processors of coltan, accounting for 22% of global production. William Evans, RTV News.
Participants who followed the National Umushyikirano dialogue from various regional sites across the country have commended Rwanda's progress in development while calling for solutions to challenges that continue to affect them, particularly in agriculture and livestock. We have more.
Ubu ngubu umuturage wa Nyabihu abasha kuvuga Icyongereza. I can speak English.
Residents in the districts of Nyabihu in the Western Province, Gakenke in the Northern Province, Gisagara in the Southern Province, and Ngoma in the Eastern Province gathered at designated sites to follow the National Umushyikirano Dialogue. They praised the role of Umushyikirano Dialogue in providing responses that support their development and livelihoods, while urging authorities to address persistent challenges affecting agriculture and livestock, health services, infrastructure, and other sectors.
Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika turahinga tukeza ariko mfite ibyifuzo bibiri.
Your Excellency, we are farmers and we get produce, but we humbly present 2 requests. First, we request for the establishment of an irrigation project so that we can farm and harvest throughout the seasons, both rainy and dry. Second, we request the construction of the road connecting such a sector and Mugesera sector, as this will help us transport our produce to the markets more easily. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Teres Fondabamenye, and Minister of Infrastructure, Dr. Jimmy Gasore, provided explanations and responses to the concerns raised. In Ngoma district, there is an ongoing irrigation project covering 22 hectares. As we continue to expand irrigated areas in all zones with lakes, we plan to reinforce these initiatives, and Ngoma, as part of the Eastern Province, is included in this plan. We will continue to develop a comprehensive plan for Ngoma so that it can also benefit from these irrigation services.
Frank twamumenyesha ko
In response to Frank, I would like to emphasize that we are working closely with districts to ensure that roads across the country that are not yet asphalted are properly developed. Our plan is to upgrade these roads using laterite, improving their conditions, and construct proper waterways so that they can be well maintained. This will enable people to transport their agricultural produce to markets more easily, but also ensure that livestock products such as milk reach milk collection centers effectively and also support the development of tourism. Therefore, we will continue working with the district's authorities to set priorities and ensure that these objectives are achieved. Participants at the Nyabihu and Gakenye sites also highlighted priority needs that they say should be addressed to improve their living standards.
Ibira bitaro bya Bigogwe byakira umubare munini w'abaturage.
Bigogwe Hospital received a large number of residents far beyond its current capacity. In addition, the hospital's facilities are very old. There is therefore a need to expand the hospital, renovate its infrastructure, and increase its capacity so that residents can receive quality services in a timely and efficient manner.
In response, the Minister of Health, Dr. Sebensen Zmana, and the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Yusuf Murangwa, outlined measures being taken to address the issue raised. What has already been done is that Bigogwe now has 5 medical doctors. As you know, medical doctors are not usually stationed at health centers, and this has been done to ensure that residents can access medical services. The next step is to work on improving the hospital itself, together with the 2 health centers in the area of Rutare and Ngeruka. Meanwhile, on social media platforms, some participants suggested that green corridors designated for sports activities, currently available in certain parts of the city of Kigali, be expanded to other areas across the country.
Part of those who attended the National Dialogue Council are foreigners living in Rwanda for various purposes. They noted that this initiative is something many African countries should learn from Rwanda, as it offers a unique way to find solutions and hold leaders accountable.
People are accountable for what they do in every village, in every sector of society. You are talking about the president sitting there, you are talking about his ministers taking in questions from people as far as all over the country and talking about their personal experiences, their problems, their challenges. And pretty much, you know, most of us come from countries where this kind of accountability is alien. I would really want to see this happening where I come from in Zimbabwe.
This is an eye-opener, very interesting. This is how development come about, and I think this is this must be replicated across the African country, because you must be aware that Rwanda is a model country, and this is what makes it a model country. It comes up with these ideas, these innovations like the one that we are attending today. It's very, very important.
Moving ahead, this Thursday, the second ordinary session of 2025-2026 was officially opened in both chambers of parliament, and it will conclude in the month of April. And our Gladys has a detailed report.
During this second session in the Senate, there will be continued oversight of the implementation of the fundamental principles provided for in Article 10 of the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda in all activities. Laws will be voted on whenever Parliament is presented with the draft laws that fall within the powers and responsibilities of the Senate. Regarding the responsibility of overseeing government activities, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Honorable Kazarwa Gertrude, stated that the Prime Minister will present government activities to Parliament, while the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning will present the national budget and the state of the country's economy.
Tuzasuzuma ishingiro ry'imishinga y'amategeko itandukanye tunayatore.
In this second term, we will examine the substance of various draft laws and also adopt them. Among these draft laws is the bill amending the law determining the state budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. It is also planned to continue fulfilling our responsibility of overseeing government activities, where ministers will be invited to provide oral responses regarding the activities of the government institutions they are responsible for. We will also receive from the Prime Minister a report on government activities on matters he will present to us in a joint session of both chambers. In this context as well, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning will present to the plenary session the status of the national economy and the country's budget. The plenary session will also be presented with general mission reports from members of parliament and overall reports prepared by standing committees based on activities carried out, including monitoring the implementation of resolutions previously adopted by the plenary on different dates, as well as analyzing policies and the implementation of enacted laws.
No gusesengura politike ndetse n'ishyirwa mu bikorwa ry'amategeko yatowe.
The Senate will also be presented with a report on field visits to citizens to assess activities aimed at developing livestock farming, with particular focus on ensuring sufficient and quality animal feed. Regarding these outreach visits, committees will continue visiting citizens with the aim of listening to their views, understanding the challenges they face, and assessing how they participate in various government programs intended to improve their livelihoods. The plenary assembly will be presented with general mission reports as well as various reports prepared by the standing committees based on activities carried out, including monitoring the implementation of resolutions adopted by the plenary at different times, analyzing policies, and reviewing the implementation of enacted laws.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byarangiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's bulletin. On behalf of the news production team and the technical team, thank you for being with us tonight. And my name is Martina Abera. See you next time.